I propose a thought experiment, just as a thought experiment. What if you dropped a whole bunch of toddlers off before they'd been exposed to any human, knowledge onto an island? And this is highly unethical.
Is this the one you talked to me about the other
Highly unethical experiment there. I mean, I don't know what kind of...
No,
you can't do that,
the ethics here are
He's a savage.
extraordinary.
Mate, I'm trying to kill Zuckerberg. He's trying to kill 50 babies.
No,
you baby killer.
This would never be doable.
No, thought experiment. No.
It would be
thought experiment.
It would be very interesting if you dropped off a bunch of kids who'd never been exposed to language, to any other form of human interaction, hadn't learned anything, onto an island completely undeveloped by humans, and monitored them. How long would it take for them to come up with a language?
They wouldn't.
They wouldn't?
No.
How many generations?
I don't think they would. There's a couple of different schools of thought on this. Some people think that we're born with an innate understanding in our brain to build and have a language, and Noam Chomsky thinks that. Mm-hmm. And then some others believe that language is something that is learned and has been learned over time and come forward. So it isn't an innate thing. And the reason that this is an important thing that people are talking about now is natural language processing that we're doing with technology and artificial intelligence. The tech bros think that language is just a thing that any machine can learn with enough processing power and enough examples and deep learning and machine learning, whereas Noam Chomsky thinks that it will never be able to be learned because it's innate to humans. Mm-hmm. So we don't know the answer to the question. I actually personally, I don't think they'd ever be able to learn it. Not at that age.
Yeah. No, I'm
is interesting though, isn't it? Yeah, it is. But they would. It'd be interesting thought experiment.
But they would communicate.
That's right. That's what I was going to say.
They would absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you're assuming that they're fed and they've got when they don't die and get eaten
exactly.
by lions.
So
body language.
What about the experiment here?
So you'd be dropping off food.
When you drop them off, do you drop off food in little packages? Drones delivering food.
But then that would completely alter the course of how they develop, because then they assume that food gets dropped off from the skies and they'd start worshipping the sky gods and
they don't know any better.
Huh?
They don't know any better. They can worship the sky gods. In this thought experiment
of drones dropping off food, and they'll be like
sky gods. They would develop sky god stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what the Egyptians were worshipping. Maybe this was an Egyptian experiment.
There was a World War II plane that used to fly over somewhere in the Pacific, and they built like a mock plane because they thought it was a god. They built like a mock plane. There's a documentary of it on YouTube.
What?
And because it used to drop off supplies during the war. No, I'm serious.
Full on.
Really?
That is insane.
And they built like this. It looks just like the plane, like out of like their materials.
Well, the Spanish thought the Aztecs thought the Spanish conquistadors were gods.
Yeah, there you go.
Because they rolled up on ships which they'd never seen, on animals that they'd never seen, horses with gold and mail plate and swords and guns that they'd never seen. Imagine seeing that shit for the first time.
That would blow your mind.
You'd be like, holy fuck,
it's the equivalent.
7,500 gods just arrived.
It's like an alien.
Yeah.
Just coming here for us. It's ostensibly the same thing. It's ostensibly the same thing.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Scary
it's crazy. Where were we going with this? Yeah, the babies. I don't think they'd develop language, but they would communicate and they would develop hierarchies and they would. It would be Lord of the Flies stuff.
Do you think they'd mate? Do you think they'd automatically...
Yeah, I think they would. I reckon they would mate for sure.
That'd be one of the first things they'd be doing.
Mate, that's all they would do. Their whole life would just be mating.
They'd have a sick existence. There would be no talking, heaps of banging, and free food from the sky on this desert island. Do you know I was listening to the end of our... Steve. Do you know I was listening to our first show? I was trying to remember I remembered at the end of our first show that I said, next time we have to talk about this, this, and this. So I listened to the last 10 minutes of our last show earlier, and I couldn't find that bit in it, but I did find a question that we asked Steve, Tommy Sirra. He sat down and he goes, Steve, if you've got three things, he said family first, but he goes, okay, take away your family. If you've got three things on a desert island, what would those three things be?
I can't remember what I said.
One of them was an umbrella.
Yeah, that's right. I did say that.
Yeah, because you'd capture water.
I could catch water. I could stay out of the rain. I could
open your mouth, you catch water.
No, but not the same volume.
Yeah. Umbrellas are really underrated technology. I've always said that about umbrellas.
Pale skin, I guess, I suppose you don't want to get...
Pale skin. Jeez, that's a diss. That's a big diss, isn't it? That was racial, man.
Bill's the kind of guy that tans while watching fireworks, so him throwing that shade is just...
Tans while watching fireworks, that's funny. That's funny, that. That's a really good... I've never heard that before. That's
I'm pretty sure I stole it from someone, I take no credit.
Man, I thought that was one of the funniest... You wanted a library. You wanted your library, I remember that.
Yeah, right.
You wanted your library. Oh, you wanted your library, a surfboard, and an umbrella. That's what
There
you
you
wanted.
go.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
And you wanted a surfboard
I'm
even
happy with
knowing
those choices now.
you wanted a surfboard even knowing 50 chance that there was surf. You still wanted a board.
Yep.
That shows you're a surfer.
Yeah, you could go out into water and catch fish deeper. And
Yes, I could have done that as well.
oh, so you weren't thinking that? You just
I was
want
going
to
to go surfing. Well, I'm there. I've got a lot of time and I don't have any work to do and I'm on the desert island. I might as well go surfing.
See, I would have picked a boat, but then a surfboard is definitely a lot more rigid and can survive a lot more than a boat, considering you go out in the right conditions. So
Yeah,
I'd
that's
pick a
true.
surfboard.
Or a fishing rod would have been good too. 'cause
Yeah.
That way you can...
Yeah. Oh, you could make your own fishing rod.
Could
you? Well, quite possibly. The amount of
Seen Castaway?
I have seen that.
yeah, you could weave flax together, dry flax.
Didn't he? Wasn't
weave them together.
Spears his main thing
Yeah.
in the low tide?
Yeah, that was
He
his
got real
thing.
good at it at the end,
That was
didn't
his
he?
thing. That's the sickest scene where he's fat and he's fat and bearded and he's trying to no, he's fat and no beard, sorry, and he's trying to he goes to sleep in the cave, he busts his hand or busts his tooth or something, goes to sleep in the cage, cries himself to sleep, and then the next scene is boom, and they spear the fish and he's standing up there on the rock, just a beard and his
I haven't seen it.
Haven't you seen it?
It's a cool movie.
Oh, it's one of the best ever. Tom Hanks in his prime, mate.
Okay.
Wow, best over. All right, we'll just... But it was good.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
Yeah. So